Hello, welcome to Into Dorkness, episode 3/019. I'm Sergio.
I'm Sean.
And
Becca.
we're joined by the Khaleesi of the Into Dorkness Empire,
Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Beka.
Beka?
That's what Siri on my iPhone calls her because Becca spells it B-E-C-A. So if I say
Not the only one.
Just putting that out there. Not the only one to do that.
I have to tell Siri to text Beka, or else she's like, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't know where you are. Maybe
And
if
you're
you
like-
turn on your location settings. Well, Siri, if you turn them on for me, I wouldn't have a wreck. The whole reason I'm talking to you is because I'm driving.
And then,
God damn it, Siri.
Yeah. So why do you like Apple again?
Because
They're just cool, man.
they're awesome.
Because
Look, Siri is one dud among many.
Is Siri a dud?
To me, I don't use her for anything.
Yeah, like I remember when Siri came
Write
out.
in and tell us, guys.
I remember when Siri came out, everyone's like, dude, you'll never have to fucking touch your phone again.
You have to touch your phone to activate her.
Well, I mean, you have to, to
activate
do
it.
that, yeah. Yeah, you have to touch her to activate
Well,
her.
she's not always there. Like, she's off doing her own thing, and you have to summon her.
Her own Siri, dude. Like you're rubbing them like a magic lamp.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not a Siri fan. I don't know. I mean, because Apple got rid of Google Maps as the default.
Yeah.
And that was her biggest thing, is like directions here, but now it's the Apple Maps app, which isn't very good. So I just manually start the Google Maps app. So there's a big stumbling block.
Okay.
Apple.
I remember when, did it correspond with like a new release? Like was it with Apple 5 that they got the new Apple Maps?
Yeah, it was one of the major like OS releases.
And so, and there was like a big Tumblr that like, it would be like, like show me where like, Candlestick Park is in San Francisco. And it's like, in the middle of the ocean, stuff like that.
Pretty much. Yeah, Siri has led me into a few death traps. I had to escape from some Mad Max situations because of her.
We had quite a weekend.
Yes.
We watched Man of Steel,
Mm-hmm.
which is a Superman movie.
What?
Without Superman in the title.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's a prestige picture.
Otherwise, how do you know?
Yeah. How would you know?
Who is the Man of Steel?
Yeah.
I thought it was a sequel to the robot movie.
Real Steel.
Real Steel.
About-
Hugh Jackman becomes the robot.
Exactly. He finally upgraded.
I'd watch that. I didn't watch Real Steel,
But I would watch
But I
that.
would watch that movie
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, it's like people who've seen Terminator 2, but like when we were kids, we all saw Terminator 2, but not all of us had seen the Terminator.
I'm trying to think.
Because the Terminator had titties in it, so I was allowed to see the hyper-violent Terminator 2, but the softly romantic first Terminator.
I'm trying to think when I saw Terminator 2. I remember seeing Terminator on video in New Mexico, but I'm not sure at what point.
I caught it on TV years after I'd seen Part 2.
It's when you were in New Mexico. That's the point in your life when you saw it.
That's a catch-all for a period where I spent
A lot.
in the woods.
The woods of New
Spirit
Mexico.
questing, eating a lot of
Peyote munching.
a lot of mushrooms, and just having women just strewn in and out. Just,
In and out, and I had a large stack of VHS tapes that I just worked my way through.
Yeah, that's when I did that. I was like, "How do you know that girl?" I was like, "Oh, I met her while I was in New Mexico."
Still better than saying you met her at the gathering of the Juggalos.
That is also true. Yeah. We also watched This Is the End. Let's talk about that really quickly.
I liked that
Funniest movie of the year?
Does this Coke smell funny to you?
Probably the best line of the movie.
I would say the first half is pretty insane, and the second half was okay, but that first half, again, spoilers, but that scene where they're talking about which rooms of the house they're allowed to come in, when Danny McBride and James Franco get into the shouting match about...
I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe, and I was crying.
Yeah.
That's the funniest movie I've seen in the theater in a while. Like, I can't think of the last time I laughed that hard at a movie.
But what makes that movie really good is that it's cohesive. It works at its core. It's about like two friends
who've kind of started growing apart.
Yeah, coming to terms with what their friendship is now as opposed to what it used to be, and it retains that all the way through.
Yeah.
And and despite giant demons with huge penises wagging around,
That was amazing.
and a cannibalistic Danny
Saw
McBride.
a lot of dicks this weekend, you guys.
Yeah, we did.
A lot.
We saw a little baby one in Man of Steel.
Like
Spoiler
3
alert.
times.
Spoiler alert, yeah, there's
Three
baby
times.
dick in Man of Steel.
And then like 12 dicks shooting up into the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will talk about that. Spoiler alert, they're sky dicks.
Lots of dicks.
Lots of peepees.
It was the weekend of dicks.
Let's. All right. Do you want to do the Man of Steel minute?
Yeah, we're going to do 1 minute on Man of Steel. There will be a lengthier discussion, right?
Yeah. You will if you want. We just want everyone to, because Man of Steel just came out like 72 hours ago.
Right.
So we want everyone who listens who hasn't seen it to give them a ample opportunity to see it. We'll give you like 10 days.
Yeah.
If you ain't seen it in 10 days, tough titty, said the kitty.
Or just fast forward through that part of the show.
I guess that's going to be a lot of the show though.
Yeah.
But for now, we're just going to talk about it for a minute. So if you don't want any spoilers, if you don't want to be spoiled, I'll tell you when to stop listening, and for exactly 1 minute, we will discuss Man of Steel, and then at which point, just look at your iPod or your Zune if you're listening
Android
if you're
device.
listening in 2006.
John Napick,
This
if you're
minute is
listening.
never coming.
And no, it has to be explained. Otherwise, people will be like, "Dude, you spoiled Man of
Foul
Steel for me."
play.
Foul play, bro.
You talked about the sky dicks.
What's it going to be, like minute 8?
Well, it'll be okay. What's coming up? Man of Steel minute, starting right now. I didn't like it. Did you like it?
Becca?
Yeah, it was it's real dicky. I don't know.
I wasn't a big fan either. There were things I liked about
Yeah,
it. I wanted to like it.
No, yeah, I walked in being super worried that it was gonna be it wasn't gonna be good. I just seen Sucker Punch, and I'm like, that movie's god awful.
Oh.
And so I walked in thinking like it's not gonna be any good, and my feelings were justified. You walked in, Sean, hoping it was gonna be awesome and waiting to love it, just fucking wanting to love it.
My heart was breaking for him
As I sank in the seat,
Yeah.
and as you and Sergio continued to giggle next to me, it hurt. It hurt.
It was just kind of boring.
It was beautiful.
No, like the action sequences were great to look at, but all in the end, they didn't matter.
I didn't care about what I was seeing. I didn't
All right.
emotionally connect.
Man of Steel minute over. Man of Steel minute is over. Thank you for listening to the Man of Steel minute. We'll be back
With the Man of Steel hour.
with the Man of Steel like half hour,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
next week.
These idiots are going to go see it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see it again. I mean, I have to.
Yeah, me too.
I have to.
I can't, look, there's too much there. It's like you go on a bad first date, right? But
Yeah.
there were things you liked about the date.
Yeah. There's like, maybe
Like she made a great joke, or
like
you know,
she's really
You
funny.
think you can get laid, so you're going to try it again.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
this time, this time I'll get to come.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know. I might. I mean, you knew in our case, so our second date, whether I was going to go to or not. But we'll talk about that on our relationship
Yeah.
podcast.
So is Man of Steel the female in this equation?
Wait.
I don't
Yes, Man of Steel is the girl.
So Man of Steel knows if we're gonna come or not.
It does.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we have some say in it, I guess. Not in terms of we are engaging with it, I guess, and it just depends on whether you connect.
I don't know if I planned this in my head. Like if I was like, oh, this will make sense, or if it was just serendipity. But I had proposed like, hey, let's watch Sucker Punch. Like I had never seen it. And I've been reading these things about it on the interwebs, on the monster web. They're like, hey, it's not what you think it is. Everyone who saw it and hated it got it wrong.
Right.
And it's also directed by Zack Snyder.
And written. And this was like his first
He wrote
movie.
this one.
Yeah,
Co-wrote it. Yeah, but I mean, it's the first
like,
movie
it's
he's
his
made
vision.
that was like all him. That wasn't an adaptation of somebody else's work. Like his first film was a remake. His next two films were adaptation of comic books. This was his chance to like.
And then there's
do what
the
he
Owl
wanted.
What was
movie,
his
which I'm not sure.
first one?
That was also an adaptation.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. Yeah,
Oh,
he did
that's
Guardians of Gahul or whatever.
Legends of the
Owls.
Fall, the
Yeah.
Owls of the Fall.
which are
Owls.
children's books.
So And then, so I was like, oh, we'll talk about that. And it so happens that it was also the episode where we, come back from Man of Steel. So
it was
again,
a Zack Snyder heavy week.
Yeah, I don't know if I planned it in my head. I'm like, oh, that's the same week we're going to do that.
I thought you did it on purpose.
Oh, I don't know. I was watching Sucker Punch and thinking, like, man, this is awful. Like, we're also going to talk about Man of Steel, too. I didn't like Sucker Punch. I don't know how many of you out there in the World Wide Web have seen it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, let's lay out a little
bit of a plot.
Yeah, so as near as I can tell, and feel free to correct me here, either of you.
I will.
It basically is about a young lady whose mother dies, and her stepfather is a creepy, rapey son of a bitch who wants to rape her, but then she gets away, so he goes after her little sister, and she tries to save her little sister, but ends up accidentally shooting her.
Yeah.
And the stepfather manages to turn that around into, oh, she's crazy, gets her put away in a mental hospital, and pays off an intern to get her lobotomized before the cops come sneaking around.
Also, all in efforts to take away their goods.
Yeah, because he was cut out of the will. Everything was good.
The mother had left everything to her two daughters, so, which upset him to no end.
Upset him so much that he threw everything off his desk.
He did the whole slow motion I hate everything on this desk.
So there's.
Have you ever done that?
No.
Have you, Becca?
To have sex.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do just about anything to have sex.
Yeah.
But
he was planning to have some sex. Was he going to rape it out of them? He's like, I'm going to take it out in pussy? I don't. Or is it just he was incoherent with rage? Well, it's told almost entirely in images, which I kind of respect the idea that they weren't over-explaining it.
I think he was just so he just wanted to hurt them so much.
Power struggles, unresolved sexual tension issues, all
for sure.
things.
And
you mentioned that she tries to shoot the stepfather, ends up killing her sister accidentally. Dude, she's 3 feet away from this dude, point blank, and somehow she's and misses and caps her sister. I'm like, you are the worst shot ever.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I'm not saying this excuses the movie, because I think you're right, especially by movie logic. But the few times you and I have shot guns, I am a terrible shot. But we are shooting at something 15, 20 feet away?
Oh, it's 50 feet away. 50
feet away. So I'm pretty sure I could shoot you. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, if we were in a closet together, I could shoot you.
She could have not been wearing her contacts, you guys.
Yeah, or maybe just one, so it's a little off.
Yeah.
Well, she was also emotionally distraught. And part crazy, I think.
Apparently. So, yeah, she pays off this intern.
To
get her lobotomized, or he pays off an intern to get her lobotomized before, I guess, the cops
sniffing around to get her side of the story.
There's a 5-day
because there is a dead body, so the police, are going to be coming around. So
because they just throw people into the insane asylum, no questions asked. And I guess also before, the head doctor will talk to her and
before Carla Gugino's character gets too much time with her.
I guess she's off in the Hamptons vacationing.
Well, you see her on the stage at the beginning, so you see that they do this weird. He forges the signature, but I think we're getting hung up on a technicality. We do a jump cut to right before she's about to get lobotomized. You see John Hamm in silhouette with a ball peen hammer, getting ready to put a nail.
Spike, a railroad spike into her nostril.
Right. And then it cuts to a brothel.
Yeah.
And so suddenly it's like Inception. You go down to level 2, and then they go down to the 3rd level for all the scenes you saw in the trailer.
Yeah, all the scenes involving her in a little schoolgirl outfit, carrying guns bigger than her, shooting at giant robots.
Right, and so... So where do we start with this? I mean, I guess overall impressions. You said you didn't like it.
Well, the reason I wanted to watch this, when it originally came out, I had no interest in seeing it. It just looked like a comic book fanboy's wet dream, a 15-year-old fanboy's wet dream, cute girls in schoolgirl outfits with samurai swords and giant robots and big guns, and it's got